for none other than Jagriti Motwani, Co-Founder and Chief. Chachi, please put your hands together. Welcome on board, Jagriti. Joining Jagriti, we have Aman Dhall, founder, CommsCredible. Once again, Aman Dhall back on stage, now an experienced stage speaker already. All right, next up we have Aakriti Thakur, founding member, brand and marketing, Healthians. Welcome, please put your hands together for Aakriti Thakur. Joining them, we have Manik Dhodi, influencer, actor, and of course, a real estate director as well. So please put your hands together for Manik Dhodi. Welcome, sir. I must say, a very versatile profile. Next up, we have Shakti Singh, Marketing Manager, India, Anko, India. Please put your hands together for Shakti Singh. Thank you so much, all the beautiful panelists, for joining us on board today. And the subject for this panel discussion is the rise of virtual influencers and their impact on the digital landscape. Like we all know, in the last few years, the influencer market has gone to sky high. Now we need to understand what's the reason behind it, what's the future like. And for this, we have our beautiful panel members on board today. So over to you, ma'am. Just please keep a tab of time. As soon as the buzzer rings, it's time's up.
Absolutely. I can't risk that ticker going off on us.
I am glad. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Exactly. Just go for it quickly.
Hey, so thank you everyone for making time for this panel. I know all of you personally, and we have worked very closely at various times in our lives. So today the optics have completely turned to influencers in the marketing mix. I will start with the influencer here, Manik. How did you come about being an influencer, an actor?
Certain things happen by accident. And I think one of the things that I learned from COVID and lockdown is that give life a chance and just try to go in the flow. You don't know what opportunities may come up your way. So I work for adidas. I had the real estate strategy and expansion for the brand. My role has nothing to do with what I do otherwise. But I have a fitness journey myself. I used to weigh about 104 kgs few years back. I started running to reduce weight, and that realization came when I started teaching my now elder daughter. She was 4. I couldn't teach her healthy habits if I didn't follow them myself. So in that journey, thank you. In that journey, I became a marathon runner. And when people, we look at people who are among us, who are from us, right? And that was the reason people were able to relate to me. I then qualified nationals to represent India in World Masters Athletics. I came 5th in the Asian finals just before COVID. All this, and when COVID started, I still continued to do my workout at home. That's when I did a certification course, so I'm also a functional trainer, but I don't really train people. People started messaging me that we want to see your workouts so that we can do these workouts at home. In that process, on Instagram, followers started increasing. A result of which, I still don't know how it happens, I don't know whatever happens, but as a result, brands started approaching me, and when the first time, I was just telling some of us that a brand approached me and they said, we'll pay you, and I was like, मुझे क्यों पैसे दोगे? मतलब celebrities को पैसे दो ना, मतलब who am I, and how many followers, 20,000-30,000 followers, why will you pay me? But I realized that, there is more science and more logic to it. That's how it started, and here I am, and thanks to the influencer journey, I also started modeling, which was a dream 20 years back. So as I said, I'm doing a lot of things that I aspired to do 20 years back. Fortunately, influencer is one of that.
Wonderful to hear your journey. Now, if I may ask Aakriti, what has changed over the years and why influencers matter so much today?
Thanks, Jagriti. So, I think over the time, number one is that the concept of digital marketing and influencer per se has really evolved, right, over the time. So, and this is not how it was looked upon for many, many years. Today, it is looked at one of the platforms for ROI. people are driving ROI, performance-driven campaigns through influencer marketing, as this is something that probably pre-COVID no one had even thought of.
Right.
But over the time, the reluctance of people went away with the influencer marketing having played this part for us. And yeah, I think a lot of key benefits that influencer marketing as a platform brings from the brand is, number one is the trust and the credibility that it has attached with it, right? The follower base of the influencers are in some way personally, humbly attached to them, right? And they've been following them for everything that they post online. And so whenever as a brand advocate they post something, the followers definitely, they know that because the users today who are consuming the content are very much aware of what, they are seeing. So they know that even if it's a paid collaboration, even if it's some endorsements, the influencer might not be selling them the best product, but it's not even going to be the worst, right? They assume that they would do their due diligence already. And I think that's something, the trust and credibility, especially for a business like ours, which is into healthcare, it means a lot. It means a lot, and I think which is why it is doing so wonderfully as a platform.
Right. Thank you. Shakti, you just launched your brand, and I would like to ask you, how did you select the right influencers for the launch campaign, and what impact did they bring to you?
So, very nice question, first of all. A right mix of influencer, first of all, there are so many notions now prevailing in market saying there's a nano influencer, micro influencer, macro influencer. Seems like it's a different size of apparel or something. But trust me, what we really look into a particular influencer is the type of content the person is creating. Whether it's relevant to my brand, whether it's relevant to the audience who is, whether that audience relates to my product line, what I'm offering, is first and foremost criteria what we identify in a particular influencer. If those things are marrying, automatically that becomes the first criteria. Second is obviously a cost. No, I'm just kidding. The second most, no, it's not likewise. We do pay. So, and second and third important thing, if I may look upon, is the kind of reach and the audience. Because at the end of the day, if you're paying, you need to have an ROI. As you are rightly mentioned, that you have to reap out and you have to take out anything and everything what we can drive out, and that's something which is the hard truth.
Right. Thank you. Aman, you have an agency. And do you see clients now increasingly asking for influencers? And, how do you put influencers in the right mix with PR and other offerings?
Yeah. See, if I look at the influencer industry, LIC agents used to be the biggest influencers, especially in financial decision making. Astrologers, these people were the biggest influencers in buying of gold, etc., in metals. Eventually, how I see this industry evolving is salespeople will become influencers, and influencers will have to become salespeople. That's how I see the industry evolving. There could be 10%. Marketers might reach out for brand building, but 90% it will be ROI driven.
Thank you, Aman. So, next, again, I would like to understand from Manik, when you design a campaign for a brand, or a brand reaches out to do a reel, a post, or anything like that, what are the priorities, that you consider? Of course, your follower base being one. So how do you advise the brand to work with you? Or, a lot of times brands may have also asks such as that they just want something that they have curated. And how do you deal with such situations?
So my first question is that are they absolutely precise about what they want, and do they have their own set format, or will they allow me to be creative? If it's a set format that they have, if I feel I connect with that and I myself believe in it, only then will I go ahead with that. if I myself, because it's my page, okay? I have to be honest to first myself and have to love it. If I don't connect with that content, I would not do it. And at the same time, if they give me flexibility, I share a couple of ideas. There are certain things that I do naturally. For example, for me, one very easy expression is music. I am, heart and soul connected to music. In almost every post, there will be some music, mostly Indian or Bollywood songs, and then maybe some other music. It may not go with every post. So it again will go back to the content. But I think brands that give flexibility to the creators, that is when I have seen the post doing wonders. Otherwise, it becomes very monotonous. Neither the brand will enjoy, and it actually eventually comes out in the reach. You will not get the kind of response that you would get otherwise. Because it
Right.
shows in your energy. It will show in your facial expressions. It will show in your tone, and it won't help anyone.
Right, understood. Shakti, to you, now, we learn from various studies that the gap between the trust on advertising and the trust of influencers is narrowing. It's 91% and 80%, supposedly, at the moment. Do you see that there is more trust on influencers than other means of marketing?
So it's not actually trust being shifted. It's just a new way of seeing things. So if I say influencer is a new version of marketing. So marketing is quite dynamic across. Means we have seen a time from typical SEO evolving to paid communication. Now you have influencers talking about it. So automatically now we are talking on an open forum. We are talking about ROI from an influencer. Means so ruthless to talk about, to be very honest. So it's a different, it's a journey, to be very honest. Having said that, I am not saying that it will replace or it will overlap or it will be increasing. It will be a contribution in your overall gamut of activities what you do. Maybe a percentage plus minus can be one, but you cannot negate or you cannot say no to one activity. You cannot say, let's say, I'll not do a PR activity or I'll not do a traditional SEO activity in terms of my keyword search and stuff. I'll only focus on something of this sort. So it has to be a right mix and right amalgamation of all activities put together, and then only we call it as a right campaign or a complete campaign.
Okay, thank you. Aakriti, to you, how do you measure a success campaign done with influencers? What are the parameters you look into?
So there are various parameters that you can look at, right? So reach is number one. The kind of engagement that that campaign is bringing to you through likes, comments, shares, all those saves is definitely something that you can look at. If if the campaign is extremely transactional, it is very performance driven, we can always have the CTAs, the call to actions, very specific CTAs, that could be a number to track responses, it could be a landing page, it could be a QR code that is being scanned and it is getting the user landed on a particular page or something. So these are a few ways by which you can really track that, and I think that's the beauty of influencer marketing today, that it's so measurable. You have all the insights, you have the data, you know what is working for you, the kind of audience that you want to, your potential targeted audience is being reached or not. So yeah, so I think that's also one of, the beauty of influencer marketing as a platform that traditional PR platforms have not been able to, justify.
Right,
Yeah.
agree with that. Aman, from you, now, there are a few virtual influencers on the line. What do you think about that?
I think I don't know how much virtual influencer industry exists, but if I have to think of, for me, Alexa or Shiri are the biggest influencers. Obviously, how do they help in commercials, buying and selling is something that needs to be seen. But if you ask me, people trust Alexa and Shiri to give them that right answers. And again, I think you were asking me last time, which I skipped, I think, what do companies want and what are they asking for? I think what is happening is, especially earlier, kind of journalists were the influencers in a way. And today what has happened is, obviously a lot of content generation is happening, but still you want that marquee reporter who has influence to write on you. And it's not possible that every brand will be able to tap them, and you require a lot of effort. Somewhere, again, I think PR will become very influencer-driven, from even like pinpointing who needs to write
From the brand's
from the brand's perspective. Similarly, I feel independent content creators will come into the kitty of PR consulting firms. I think it's just a beginning. This model will evolve, but definitely, as I mentioned, it will be 10-20% brand building, 80-90% ROI.
While I'm a big advocate of technology and AI, right, and all of that, the only thing that I feel, may lack is the emotions and the empathy that the human influencers bring today on these platforms. Like, that's something that I feel that probably, the virtual influencers might not bring for the brands. There's a natural tendency of people to connect with human influencers, and there is a personal vendetta why they follow them, and they look up to them. So that's something where I feel that virtual influencer could lack. But 2 years down the line, we were not talking about digital influencers giving us ROI-driven campaigns, but today we are talking about it. So you never know, like, looking forward to it.
Right, now to Manik. Do you see competition rising up?
पेट पे लात मत मारो. See, we as Indians and Asians, we are people's people. We like to connect with people. We like to follow. If human influencers were not needed, we would never have had influencers. Advertising to ho hi rahi thi. They are models and there are actors. But the reason influencers are there and they are doing great is because there's a human connect. Like she said, with an influencer, we feel it is verified. The probability of authenticity of that product is actually higher. I don't know if every influencer does that. I'm sure most of us do. I do it. And that is the reason this will stay. Yes, AI, it is exciting. It could be a temporary fascination. I don't know, maybe short term or long term. Any new exciting thing stays for a while. This could be one of that. It could be used for certain things in future, but I don't think it's going to replace human influencers.
Thank you. Shakti?
To add on to the points what you have mentioned is, we are, in India, we are very much excited the moment some new technology comes up. So initially, if you see the moment virtual influencers will come, definitely adaptation will come because the engagement will be high. Brands will also be interested, looking forward to associate with something of that sort. But on a long run, if you see, it is more of a volumetric campaigns when you talk about. If you want to have a mass campaign, wherein you want 100 content creators to create a content for, and that too, they have to talk in a fashion the brand wants to be, and that too more of a, not a typical stereotype content what you want to create from a content creator. Maybe for those kind of small activities on a longer term basis, such kind of influence will be more effective on a long-term basis. On an immediate basis, I'm sure it will be more of a buzz creation kind of a thing that I have done it. I'm more techie and something of that sort.
Right, agree with that. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. With this, we conclude the panel, and I hope you guys had some takeaways from it.